Hi, this is Papen at Sweetwater. I'd like to show you Blade, our latest product. And Blade is a cutting-edge synthesizer with some very interesting new ideas. Let me show you using one of the sounds. What you can hear is a MIDI time-based wobble. The difference with Blade by using and making this wobble is that we have an XY pad. If you have regularly a synthesizer, the human input to a synthesizer is the way you play the keyboard, the velocity, modulation wheel, or ribbon controller. And the modulation inside the synthesizer is most of the time in LFO or an envelope. And the idea behind Blade is that you have a human input modulation, and this XY pad is great for making such things. An XY pad normally is connected to cutoff frequency or resonance, but we connect it also to the oscillator, and it changes inside the oscillator the harmonics. Therefore we call it an harmolator instead of an oscillator. It's down here, and if I shut down the XY pad, you hear it static. We have over 9 controls here. And one of the most obvious is, for instance, the odd-even function. You can change the odd-even harmonics, but it has in total 9 controls. Okay, I go back to this harmolator a bit later on, but first let's go to the XY pad, because the XY pad is very special, because we can make it MIDI time-based, we can change the tempo of it, we can control the filter, and we can control the harmolator. What you heard is a sound that was MIDI time-based. When I hit the key, you see this dot moving, and this dot moving is just the recording of what I did using the mouse. So I hit the note now, and now I did a new movement. From record I go now to play, and then you can hear this movement. Well, this movement can be while doing this on a certain tempo, but afterwards you always can say sing to any value. So from 1/32's note up to 1 bar, up to 2 bars, and I set it to 1 bar, and then it's syncing to 1 bar. But that's not the whole story. What we can do, we can loop it, or even bidirectional loop. Then the movement goes back and forth. Well, in this sound, the forward loop was most nice one. What you also maybe heard is that I changed the tempo in the first start of this video. Well, for this I used the pitch bend. So I shut down the pitch bend for doing the regular pitch bend. Instead of that, I use it for changing the tempo of this movement in the XY pad. That is down here. It's the speed control with the pitch bend as modulation source. And while playing, that is very dynamically in changing the tempo. And the cool thing of pitch bend, I also can go down, so slower. So for modern music, dubstep and experimental music, it's fantastic. Well, this is a bit nasty sound. As you can see, it controls the filter in this case, which you can put on. So we have the harmolator and filter on board with several traditional filter types, but you also can use the XY pad to change the filter. Just click on it, on off, and you can also hear the difference without controlling the filter or with filter. So in the XY pad we have a vertical movement and horizontal movement. In both directions you have in total 12 controls. You see here bass, which you can find also in the harmolator. So there you can change the harmolator in a vertical way. Okay, let me shut down this one and shut down the filter. Now you can hear that the bass changes So that is one of the parameter in the harmonizer. Or I pick some other parameter, for instance timbre here, and use that on the horizontal movement. So just experiment yourself with changing these parameters here and clicking them on and off. And of course, as told before, we can also adjust the filter using the XY pad. So open here the filter. So there are a lot of modulation options, and you draw yourself your own movement. Well, let's take another preset to show you how versatile Blade is in terms of presets. By the way, Blade also has this quick browser, which allows you to browse through all the presets. Well, this is more a synthesizer sound. And you can see all these moving dots. Well, what does it mean? That means that each voice has its own XY pad. So when I play a note here, first note starts to play with its own movement, and when I play second note, the second note has its own movement, its own XY movement. So it's a polyphonic XY pad. So the XY pad is very central in the synthesis of the Blade synthesizer. But we also have on the right side, we have control of velocity to the filter or to the harmonizer. We have a traditional LFO. We have an envelope which you can use. And of course, in the upper section, we have an amp section where you control the amplifier, the last stage in the sound. So with attack, decay, sustain, and release. Inside of Blade, there's also an arpeggiator for arpeggiating sounds. There are 2 effects on board with several, I believe 27 effect types: distortion, delays, tape delay, phaser, you name it. Let me show maybe a few more sounds. Using the manager, when I click up here, there's a manager, there's a preset manager. It shows all the presets in a very nice way. Yeah, it has a find function. If you recall the name, just type the name of it and it finds the preset for you in the bank. Let me show you the arpeggiator, which is on the main page down here. You click here in the lower section. And you also can see on the upper section that the XY pad moves. Well, if you go to the right menu in the XY pad, we have also other additional functions. So you can say make a spiral, make a square, double the movement of what you draw, or copy, paste, rotate, snap to grid, all kind of additional features inside the XY pad. One of the coolest thing is of the Blade is that still very user friendly. When I pick one of the presets here, and MIDI time based, that makes it also very special. When I pick another groove, it's what you hear is for the pad sound you hear Predator, other product of Papen. For drums you hear then Punch, another product, and I play on top of it the Blade with a melody sound, just to show you how versatile it is. Okay, take another one. So it's not only for dubstep, wobble bass, but also great for people who make ambient type of music. This preset I made on the Dam Show. You hear this change in the sound. It's a bit vocalized, but with the harmonic you have so many options in changing the harmonic content. You get so many fantasy sounds. So if you want to know a bit more about this Rob Papen Blade product, please contact one of the sales engineers of Sweetwater.